But, did you reboot? By user Parasam. Older lady calls me, pissed. I had just replaced her Windows 9 8 SE machine with XP, yet it was a minute ago, and she is making it abundantly clear she is not happy. She is the VP of Finance's admin assist. IT reports to Finance. Anyway, I'm like okay, we'll reboot the machine. If it's still an issue then it's actually a problem, but it should fix with a reboot. 2 seconds later she says okay, I rebooted. I breath. Okay, I'll be right there. I say as I get up from my desk to walk to hers. I arrive, okay, reboot again. She hits the power button to the monitor and again to turn it on. Done. She says. When I left her desk she had a big red button icon on her desktop that said reboot. That is all. Cheers. Another webcam incident, by user Abontre. I just read a webcam incident which made me think about one I had about a year ago. I set up a new ProBook and one of the newer docking monitors recently. The monitor is neat, has Ethernet, webcam, speakers, USB-A, DisplayPort, and connects to the laptop with a USB-C with 6.5W of power delivery, but I digress. I receive a ticket from the end user that her webcam is upside down. Odd. I ask if it's the one on her monitor or her laptop. She informed me she only had one camera. Okay. I visit her in her office and she's in a Teams meeting. Sure enough, she's using her laptop in front of her big monitor, and her image is upside down. Weird. I pop up the monitor's webcam and switch Teams to it, and she's right side up. There's a round of applause from the meeting attendees. After the meeting is over, I look at her laptop, and sure enough, the image is upside down. Teams, Zoom, even the camera app on Windows. I grab another laptop off the shelf, install her drive, test the camera, and the second laptop is right side up. Her ticket is closed. So I install the unused drive from the new laptop into her 2-week-old computer, they're from the same batch. Go through the basic Windows setup routine and the camera is right side up. WTF? It gets issued to a new employee, and here we are a year later and neither laptop has had an issue of any kind, let alone the cameras. I still don't know why the original configuration's image was upside down. If it had been software, the new hardware should have had the issues too, since all I did was swap hard drives. If it had been a hardware issue, camera installed upside down, then it should have presented itself when the new drive was installed. I'd replaced drivers, I'd looked for any rotation settings in software, in Device Manager, there was nothing I could find. End of the day, everything works and everyone is happy, but I hate not knowing. Almost as bad as load paper, by user Jabberwocky918. We all use zebra tag printers at work for tracking product moving around our facility, and they can be finicky sometimes. Everything has to be just right, like any other printer, or else it just says, nope, you can't make me. A different production line started having troubles with their printer, at least 2 hours before I walked past. A coworker gets my attention and asks if I know anyone who knows anything about these printers. What's the problem? It says media out. I just turn and walk up to their printer, open the cover, and notice the problem immediately. By this time, coworker has finished his other task and got to a good stopping point, to which he could watch me work. The paper tag ribbon had shifted out of position, and the laser for end alignment couldn't track the paper ribbon properly. I reset the paper ribbon position, cleared the errors, and pressed feed. The printer spit out 2 test tags and claimed it was ready. The coworker started cursing at me about dumb this was, all the fixes they tried, and the help desk ticket they put in. I told him you just needed to reset it like it was a new box of tags, and it will sort itself out. Then walked away with a smile to continue on my original way. Don't be afraid to ask the dumb questions to other people with the same equipment. The Kindergarteners, by user Jolie_. I have no idea what it is with kindergarten teachers and tech. 90% of my stupid tech support stories come from them. Just recently I had another example of this phenomenon. I got a call saying they could not open a specific program. I am confused, as they are trying to open it on our RDP server, which definitely has it installed correctly since other were using it. Odd, I think, bracing myself for a full-on quest to find the error. I remote into their machine, since I thought it might just be a frozen image. But no, they can move their mouse and even click on the icon. Suspecting something bigger to be at play here, I start checking permissions and network connections and whatnot. After a short everything should be working correctly, I try opening it myself and it magically opens without me having changed anything. The kindergarten teacher screams in delight, "How did you do that? It works." I answer, "I just double-clicked." He say, "Oh, you are supposed to click twice." At this point my brain starts going into a state of refusal and I say that yes, you indeed have to double-click, glad it works now, bye. It's only as I hang up that I realize how incredibly stupid this just was. I talked to them later about it, and they said they only ever clicked on icons on the taskbar, which is where I put all of it so that they wouldn't have to go looking for it. Kindergarten teachers, man. They're really something. Edit, changed from kindergarteners to kindergarten teachers. That is a very funny mistake to make. Mentally change the title as well, since Reddit doesn't allow me to do that. Mirror image, by user Jockmcfarty. Background, I used to work in system operations at a large UK bank somewhere in the east of Scotland, back when mainframes were the size of several large refrigerators. In the early 1980s we moved into a custom-built computer center. This building was adorned with a pair of matching, mirror image, climate-controlled computer rooms to house the mainframes and disk farms. And in the basement below them sat the UPS, some massive flywheels with mains in and building power out, backed up by generators and several rows of car batteries to handle any transition from mains to generator or back. Every few years, we would need to upgrade our kit, and this had all been planned for, years before when we commissioned the building. The new mainframes would be strategically placed on a large, reinforced floor space. The false ceiling immediately above them even had plastic sheeting laid directly on top of the ceiling tiles in case of flooding. Hook the boxes up to the UPS and off you go. Once the new hardware had been tested and commissioned, we would wind down the old mainframes and remove them. So this one time the guys were moving the new mainframes into position and the big boss, who had popped in to watch the operation, asked why the new machine at the east end of the building was being moved into a different position from its matched pair at the west end. "Oh, that's because there's no room on the floor there in the East Hall," explained the customer engineer. "Excuse me?" Big Boss was perplexed. "These rooms are exact mirror images. Of course it'll fit. I approved the plans myself." "Haha, no," said the customer engineer. "The West Hall is 3 feet longer than the East Hall." Well, Big Boss was having none of this. Each floor tile was 3 feet square, so all he had to do was pace them out to prove his point. 1, 2, 3, 24, 25. Then we all traipsed along the corridor to the East Hall and once again Big Boss started counting out the floor tiles. 1, 2, 3, 24, oh, my God. So that's how we came to install the new mainframe in the East Hall several meters away from its intended position. No big deal, right? The entire floor was reinforced for this very contingency. Time passed. Months. Years. Then in the late 1990s we had a burst pipe on the 3rd floor, the floodwater cascaded down and into the East Hall. Remember that plastic sheeting we had placed above each of the mainframes? It was no longer in the right place to shield them from the deluge. Cue much running about with large sheets of cardboard and holding them over the mainframe until the water was shut off and drained away.